What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Bridon League. This is going to be Game 4 in the best of 5 between Basically Unknown and BBC. Currently, score stands 2-1 in favor of Basically Unknown, and we'll see if they can close it out here or if BBC will bring it to a deciding Game 5 either way. We're here on HeflaTV, one with help from ebettle.com, where you can place real money on these teams. Not really my thing, but you know what? That is the thing of many other people, so go and check them out. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by More Rage, please, for game number 4, and BBC with a very impressive display in Game 3. Maybe they can replicate it, the 3-0 dream.
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, they look good, and they looked really good outside of their comfort zone, which is something we haven't seen from them. So very promising stuff from them. 4th game in a row, we're going to see the Broodmother ban from BU against BBC. So Bridon not going to be able to pick that up. IO bans come out from BBC as it has a couple of times. Juggernaut could be removed from the pool as well, but yeah, we'll see if BBC stick with the theme of variability here and look to find some strong lanes once again, albeit their tri-lane didn't go extremely well, but in that mid lane they were able to shut down the Razor heavily, and both Mind Control and Bambo not really getting off too much of a good start there. So BU definitely dropping one there, but certainly capable of eliminating BBC here.
Yeah, and we saw the Razor, and that's usually just a very safe pick. You pick up Razor because he rarely loses his lanes, but that's just one of the cases where he does, and then at that point, no real way to recover as a Razor. Your flash farming isn't that high. You're pretty much all in that lane control early game, very similar to that Viper, and if the early game doesn't go well, then the mid game's not going to go well, the late game's not going to go well, and your game in general is not going to be won. So for BBC, they're going to first pick the Rubik once again, this time following that up with a Lion. So they're slowly becoming a little bit more aggressive after every single game, and we saw the difference that a little bit of crowd control and a little bit of lane control can make. But in response to this Basically Unknown, they're going to break out the big guns, Ogre Magi for them.
Yeah, Magoma, greatest Ogre Magi player I've ever seen in my life. He never doesn't multicast even before he picks up the ultimate. He's like incredible. But yeah, BBC once again going to go for an aggressive support duo, and I feel like this worked out very well for them last game. And not going to pick up the Disruptor here. They do pick up the Ruvik, which is by nature a little bit more of a defensive support. But Lion, a lot of table, a lot of roam. Once again, the burst damage. Laguna Blade obviously worked out very well for them in the last game. So I do like the opening from BBC. Definitely very strong from BU, though. They're going to pick up either Paris or, excuse me, Mind Control's Brewmaster, and Magoma's Ogre is certainly nothing to shake a stick at.
And we're not kidding about Magoma either. Like, it's getting to a point now where it might sound like we're kidding. We're just like, oh my god, he's the greatest. But no, he's actually just like a god at Ogre Magi. He somehow gets multicasts whenever he needs to, and we're being completely 100% serious about that, guys. So yeah, they will have that Ogre Magi on their side, of course, looking for Bloodlust synergy within their next couple of picks, so that Mind Control and or Paris will be able to get additional value off of that. But for right now, Basically Unknown going to ban out the Meepo and the Timber Saw. I think banning out the Meepo just because they don't exactly know what else to ban out, but it is certainly possible that BBC break out the Meepo on Miracle and they just go to town as such. But it's going to be an Ancient Apparition ban, then a Legion Commander pick for BBC.
Pick deny.
Yeah, that's
big time pick deny from Bambo, and I think that's a nice pickup there. Like, they just kind of banned out, like as you mentioned, I guess with the support opening, they're just kind of banning out heroes that BBC play as opposed to strategies, and they're going to be able to pick up a nice one, especially synergizing well with that Finger of Death into the duel, and the duel works pretty well against Brewmaster if you can land it.
Yeah, just lock him down, and then you'll most likely be able to kill him off and before he actually gets the split off. This is a hero that BBC have run quite a few times in the past. Haven't really seen them run it so much as of late, but it's still, you know, a very easy hero for them to work with. And the synergies are there. Just, you know, duel into Finger of Death. You're done. That's all you need. And if you have any sort of other damage, like from a Wraith King stun, then you're going to be golden. Whereas for Basically Unknown, Wind Ranger going to be the pick. We saw Miracle previously play this hero, though I'm pretty sure Mind Control this time is going to be taking that hero. Currently does not know his mid lane matchup, if that is the case.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a team swapping signature heroes here. Bambo's LC going to go over to BBC. Miracle's Wind Range are going to go over to BU here. So we'll see how they fare with each other's heroes in their hands. You can even say fucking Mad and Magoma kind of play that line very often. They will opt to go back for the Wraith King. I'm not the biggest fan of this hero in general, and there's not really too much burst from BU for it to be worth that second life. But it is nice against a Primal Split. He's usually not your ideal target for that. Wind Ranger does somewhat rely on her burst as well, so I don't mind the Wraith King here. I feel like they're still better, but definitely a nice pickup. It worked for Bridon in last game for BBC, so they'll look to make that happen again. They bammed out the Bat Rider for Bambo, so look for kind of a space creator from Bambo here, something where he can get a little bit more involved. I mean, on paper, Furion should get really involved, but that Nature's Prophet not working out so well for Bambo in that game 3.
It wouldn't be terrible here, but up against Legion Lion, probably don't want to go down that same road. Yeah, still looking for a Bambo hero, still looking for a fucking mad hero, and well, they have 2 melee heroes already, so they have to make sure that they don't crowd the lanes too much with melee heroes, as things get really awkward from there on out. It's going to be a Dazzle seemingly for fucking mad, and right now the Dazzle is, you know, a mediocre pick. Being able to cancel out the dual damage going towards Legion is certainly a thing that basically Unknown are going to take advantage of, but they don't exactly have anyone to protect so far. Like, they really need a hero for Paris at this point, or a hero to get the usage of both the Bloodlust and the heal support from Dazzle, and well, it's not going to be the anti-mage.
I think PA is really nice here into the physical damage from BBC. Bloodlust, as you mentioned, does synergize well with any kind of right-click oriented carry, and I feel like the Phantom Strike Spectral Dagger is nice for some chase potential. As you mentioned, the Grave is there, can allow her to heal up her health pool with some lifesteal with a big crit underneath the Grave. Grave's also nice for Primal Split, but yeah, it is kind of a safe pick for my taste for fucking mad here is the Dazzle, but we'll see what they round out the lineup with here. Physical damage from the Witch Doctor, PA also innately pretty tanky up against that, so I would like to see it, but they'll opt for Slark.
Slark is already difficult to kill ever, but once you put Bloodlust on him, plus once you slap a Shallow Grave on him, it's going to be dangerous. But BBC grabbing the Witch Doctor as their last pick is going to shove the Rubik over towards a solo mid role. I thought we were going to see Legion Commander take that position, but Rubik's solo mid as Miracle, with Miracle playing it, is a pretty dangerous hero, and it will do okay versus basically Unknown, but I'm pretty sure the Wind Ranger has a slight edge in this matchup.
Yeah. I think so as well. Definitely with the attack animation of that Wind Ranger should be just fine to find the CS advantage in that one. Massacre played very poorly on the puck. I mean, that's kind of virtue to Bambo's really, really great play on the Queen of Pain. Played better on the Clockwork, so if the trend continues, should have a good game on this Legion Commander here, and they will need this Legion to set up a lot for them from BBC, which is why I do feel like this Levi pick is a little bit iffy, a little bit sketchy for BBC, because they are going to need to find a Blink Dagger on their Legion, or at least on their Lion, to jump in, and with her being in the off lane, it's going to be a little bit delayed.
And it might not come for a very long time. If that doesn't happen, yeah, they have a lot of crowd control on their other heroes. Like Miracle can really step it up and do quite a bit as that Rubik solo mid, but the Legion Commander and the Wraith King, they're going to need to step up rather early. They don't have a lot of time to just sit back and farm. Being up against a Brewmaster, Wind Ranger, and even a Slark, who's going to be part of a defensive tri-lane, actually. So we have Paris going off-lane solo Brewmaster for Unknown. Mind Control is going to be handling the mid-lane Wind Ranger. And then it's a Bambo Slark with Magoma's Ogre and fucking Mad's Dazzle taking it all up towards the top lane. This is rather interesting from basically Unknown. Mostly just who's playing what.
Yeah, just a swap of roles there, Bambo up in the safe lane. For the side of BBC, Massacre, as we mentioned, going to go towards that off lane on the LC. In the mid on his signature Rubik is Miracle. He's been a bit underwhelming in the series thus far, so we're looking to see some big plays come out from him here. Levi as well as Yaps are going to pick up the Witch Doctor and the Lion, respectively. They're going to be accompanied by their one-position Wraith King, once again picked up by Bridon.
And just a really quick note, guys. The host of the lobby, the admin, messed up the score tab thingies on the top, so the actual score is 2 to basically Unknown and 1 to BBC, not 2-0 BBC. So I know I'm gonna have to explain that quite a few times over the course of this game, but hopefully people will just type in !score in the chat, and then they'll get the real score.
Yeah, that's usually always updated. So, guys, if you ever hop in a HeflaTV chat, just !score, and as long as the game's not over, that should be accurate. So, yeah, 2-1 currently for BU. There was no winner's bracket advantage, so this is the actual 4th game we're playing up on this series starting at 18 CET. We'll see how this mid lane fleshes out, but it doesn't look like there'll be too much early kill potential onto Massacre or Paris unless they make a misstep. There is quite a bit of disable from BU here, but with the overwhelming odds, she should have enough movement speed more often than not to get out of range of the pounce.
Paris also has the boots first, but he has to worry about so many stuns here down on this bottom lane. Just the Wraithfire cask is dangerous enough. If you add Yapsorb's Hex and or Spike to that, then Brewmaster is going to be in for a rough time. And, well, Paris on the Brewmaster is a very capable player, very capable hero, but he's going to be in a lot of trouble very often in this off lane, at least in a little bit less trouble than Mascari, who on the moment top lane with so much regeneration is going to be more than happy to get into a fist fight with fucking Mad, and that's a fist fight that Mad is never really going to win. Even with Magoma kind of in the area, a Fire Blast is not really going to do too much to change the tide of this lane. Mascari will be fine most of the time up here.
Yeah, definitely so. As long as he can continue to dodge the pounce, will be good. Magoma, pretty underwhelming in level 1 with that short range on the Fire Blast and no Ignite available to him.
And over towards mid lane, Mind Control and Miracle on their respective heroes, working with not quite exactly same base damage, but Wind Ranger does have a 1 level advantage right now, so very similar amounts of base damage, and then it comes down to projectile speed and overall skill, and in that sense, I think the lane should be going fairly evenly, and I've been seeing some pretty impressive plays from Miracle's Rubik, but at the same time, making those plays, dragging a hero into a creep wave, is not going to work versus a Wind Ranger. She just wind runs, takes no damage from the creeps, and then is just fine. So I expect this mid lane to be very, very slow, very, very boring, but that's fine, because both those heroes will eventually make some sort of rotation outwards.
Yeah, Bounty Rune found by Massacre. He's picked up level 2.5 already when you compare that to barely eclipsing level 2 is Paris. He will find a Haste Rune, however, and with this Thunderclap could look to go in mid onto Miracle. He's been scouted out, however, by this high ground ward for certain, and he won't have any kill potential. Levi even going to scout him out from the high ground, so that gives them notice that there is vision on this rune. Magoma postured up in the trees, doesn't quite have his comrade with him in the Dazzle, and don't know if they will have the kill potential on Massacre. Still has the overwhelming odds, will pop it here, just going to look to dance around that pounce, but the Dark Pact is going to be there for the most part. Massacre is going to get chased down here, can look to salve up, but going to get blocked in. Magoma, the physical nuke of the Shadow Wave, will be there as well. He'll cut into the trees, trying to get out with a hatchet and some tangos, but will eventually fall, and First Blood gonna go over to fucking Mad's Dazzle.
And I'm pretty sure over on the bottom lane, Paris with that Haste Rune was aggressed upon a little bit by Levi, but level 1 Drunken Brawler giving him, let's see, 10%, so about 100% evasion chance for Paris, and Levi wasn't able to do anything there. He's going to say he's going to try again, but I don't know if that's going to work out. Either way, it is going to be First Blood drawn by basically Unknown. Over towards mid, Mind Control is going to get lifted back. Miracle does have a Fade Bolt here, but doesn't really want to fully commit versus this Wind Ranger, so he's going to back off, and up towards the top. As soon as you run to the north as the Legion Commander, as soon as you make the decision to go up instead of down, then you're pretty much dead. And even if he was going to run down, maybe he was going to die anyway. But either way, Mascari going to be on the receiving end of that one. But next time, as long as he plays himself very far away, maybe he's probably not going to die, but it's going to be Brewmaster to eventually go down. His 100% dodge rate not going to work this time.
Yeah, Spike is going to be there along with the Wraith Fire Blast, and they'll bring him down with relative ease. Even the Maledict being skilled up here early on by Levi. So Paris going to have his farm stifled a bit, not quite that level 3, so Massacre still doing quite well. 0 CS, actually that's the first of the game, going Paris's way, 13 for Massacre, so not too worried about feeding over that that death, albeit a First Blood.
Yeah, it's going to be nice for basically Unknown for sure, but the fact that the Brewmaster is getting pretty much nothing down in this bottom lane essentially means that Unknown are only working with 2 lanes, and those 2 lanes are drawing pretty darn evenly with that of BBC. The Yapzor with an Invis Rune is going to set up for a stun onto Mind Control. No, he's going to hold on. They could have just gotten a kill right there, right? Like a spike into a hex into right clicks would have easily killed off Mind Control. Yapzor going to play it slow. Still has a lot of Invis Rune time left. Now going to open up in tower range. Double lift up. Layered with the Hex, though. He's going to be able to get Wind Run. No, not with the Fade Bolt. That's going to get the kill onto the Wind Ranger. Playing it very, very slow, but it doesn't matter how fast or slow you play it as long as you get the kill. That's what matters.
Super conservative. They just waited for the next cooldown on Telekinesis to go in there, and that will give the level 6 over to Miracle here. That'll also accrue him a bit of an advantage in this mid lane. They were about at exactly even 22 CS each, in fact, and they were sitting both just below level 6 at the time, so very nice for Miracle to pick that up. Shouldn't stifle Mind Control too much, but first steal of the game will be a Power Shot, and that is a level 3 spell at this point, so not bad going the way of Miracle.
Yeah, as long as you could steal a skill that the enemy has been leveling at this stage of the game, you're going to be pretty happy. And just having an extra nuke versus Mind Control's lack of extra nuke within level 6 is going to mean that in these trades, Miracle is going to probably take the edge every single time. So Miracle's now going to have a little bit more lane control over in the mid lane, and he kind of needs it. Mind Control is doing pretty well for himself as the Wind Ranger, but as it stands right now, BBC, they're in almost complete control of this game. Bridon, he's going to be going for a fast Midas, and that is going to be coming out very, very shortly, and that is a Midas that Bambo already has with that additional kill assist there, or getting it first. So we will have that a little bit earlier, but after all said and done, it's not really going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things, as farm will be mirrored on either safe lane carry.
I mean, yeah, they will be able to get the Slark active a little bit earlier than this Wraith King, but with the Brewmaster being as heavily shut down as he is for Paris, it's going to be a lot on the back of Bambo Slark to start to find these engagements, and they won't have the Primal Split even for a little bit. Should be maybe 8 minutes inbound, somewhere thereabouts, only 4.5 levels in, and TPs to the top lane from Levi have brought Magoma pretty low under this Maledict. Don't think it'll take him down. There'll be the Shadow Wave there to keep him up for the time being as well, but already Massacre just with one addition to his lane. Looking pretty scary for this tri-lane of BU.
Yeah, they got roughed up just a little bit. It seems like every single time Slark hits 5.5 levels, he drops down to half HP. He will have the Shadow Dance soon, and he kind of needs it going up against Massacre. Just turning around for an overwhelming odds is going to be returning a lot of damage towards the basically unknown side, and not to mention the fact that Legion Commander is rather tanky inherently. That's even through the physical damage of the Shadow Wave. Mind Control over in the mid lane is going to get hexed up. He will have time to run, and Miracle stuck in tower range, shackled as well. Lots of damage going his way. Mind Control will die to one more right click, but it's going to actually be Miracle to survive for a little while longer because he stole Shallow Grave. He's going to make his way out of there. Ignite will kill him off actually in the end. Fucking Mad in a little bit of trouble as well. Yaps are going to try to get that kill. Cask bouncing through, slowing down both Fucking Mad and Magoma in the end. It's both mid lane heroes to die, but that was very, very close to being a slick escape from the Rubik.
That would have been just nasty if he was able to get out from that one. Unfortunately, Ignite gonna tick him down. But yeah, Mind Control falling once again. They're gonna need a lot of activity from this Wind Ranger in the mid game, especially as we mentioned before, because the Brewmaster is so shut down. And with already 2 deaths to her name, Mind Control not looking quite like Miracle on this Wind Ranger. And Miracle looking pretty good on his Rubik. Actually picks up phase boots here early on, so we'll be able to jump in for that instant cast disable more often now. Bambo is farming fairly well in this top lane and does have the effects of that Shadow Dance now, so should be able to have quite a bit of stability. GG rune picked up by Mind Control in the top river, so perhaps they look to make something happen off the back of this. Paris almost picked up his Primal Split, needs this bounty rune to get it.
And he's going to grab that level 6 now secured for Paris. So this Brewmaster previously, before level 6, could not do anything for his team. Now he could actually do quite a bit. Going for the support's going to be mostly the name of the game, but really the problem is that Brewmaster can't do anything versus the Wraith King, whereas top, we have Legion Commander actually stuck in a corner. As long as they hold the Fire Blast for the TP, and well they don't, but okay, never mind, it's going to get the kill anyway. Bambo's going to claim that one. So yeah, as soon as you run north as Legion Commander, you're dead, and that's going to hold true for pretty much the entire game. Ogre Magi getting close to that level 6 mark, and that can really turn things around for basically unknown.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Miracle steal this Primal Split pretty reliably, so they are going to kind of have to bring him down more often than not. He'll grab up that level 4 power shot as well, so some kill potential there. Bridon been left completely to his own devices in this bot lane, and 60 and 12, topping the CS board by quite a bit. Bambo has been involved in 2 kills, however, so is sitting on level 8 compared to the 8.5 of Bridon. Not far behind in that respect, but still. Wraith King, not going to be quite as scary as this Slark in the mid game, but certainly shouldn't be left totally unchecked.
And now that Mind Control has his phase boots, then Miracle's temporary advantage is just going to be that. But over towards top lane, it's going to be Legion Commander once again to take a fall. This time Shadow Dance was used from the Slark just to keep himself a little bit safer. TP was also cancelled up towards the top lane. So basically unknown, even though their Brewmaster isn't getting jack in the bottom lane, they're still feeding off of the enemy's offlaner. And so Legion Commander is both not getting any farm, and she's getting kills, or getting killed by the enemy side. So Bambo getting accelerated quite a bit, and a Slark with a little bit of extra feed can go a long way for basically unknown, especially since their early game has been rather slow.
Yep, and a nice pounce there from Bambo was kind of unset up, so they were allowed to save that Fire Blast for after they pressed the attack there, and able to bring down Massacre. Nice synergy of spells from them. We will have a pause here, unfortunately. Any big item progression to speak of aside from the Midas is not really, just a couple bottles out. Midas on Bambo and Bridon, as we mentioned earlier. Phase boots will be completed up by both mid laners shortly here, and there is a soul ring for Magoma, so we'll be able to find a little bit more spammability on the Ogre.
substantial item pickup soon to be for BBC, as Yapzor is holding on to 1,700 gold. It's 10 minutes in. This Lion, he's 102, has actually quite a bit of CS, and he's getting free farm down towards the bottom lane now, already packing that level 6. This is going to be an extremely fast Blink Dagger on Yapzor, and with that, he can make so much happen, like especially towards Bambo, who's going to be a very problematic hero moving forward. Being able to jump in and hex him instantly is going to just get kills all the time, but Yapzor is now going to have to deal with Mind Control and Paris shackled to a tree. That was some distance in that shackle, but that Blink Dagger now going to be a little bit further away.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he needed to use the power shot, but uses it up for good measure there either way. Bridon going to look to scout him out, but doesn't have any initiation here, and the cast going to be a very slow projectile, so they will allow Mind Control to retreat back to that mid lane. Miracle hasn't had much movement thus far. Looks like he'll build into a Eul Scepter perhaps for himself here, and he's going to just sit up in that mid lane. Found his level 9 now, which is topping the charts at the moment, but hasn't been too active, and they have given Bambo quite a bit of space on this Slark.
Well, over towards mid, Massacre has his duel and he really wants to use it, though against Mind Control it will be very hard, especially when there is an Ogre Magi right around the corner. That's a much easier target to kill. If they knew that he was there, they get ignited and they back off. That was actually just a random multicast ignite that revealed their position, so a little bit unfortunate for the BBC side, and Levi actually has to back off because of it. In the meantime, because they've left the top lane alone, Bambo and Fucking Mad are going to do what they can to push this tower down. It'll be very, very slow. It probably won't go anywhere, in fact, but so far no towers have actually been pushed. Neither side really super intent on making any sort of pushing play.
Yeah, Yapzor encroaching upon that Blink Dagger, as you mentioned. He needs just the one last hit for it, and he's actually going to opt for a Midas here, as opposed to that initiation power, which they lack heavily from the side of BBC. So looking for those levels, that extra potency from Finger of Death here, and interesting choice from him, having just about enough for a Blink Dagger sub 12 minutes.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this Hand of Midas pickup for the Lion. It's not really a hero that needs a ton of gold to get going, but it's still 12 minutes into the game. A Midas at this stage for any hero is going to be extremely reasonable, and Lion with this item is now guaranteed his eventual Blink Dagger. He could get some really fun items like Aghanim Scepter, maybe a Lincoln Sphere to save his allies, or Force Staves, items along those lines which any support hero would not ordinarily be picking up. So it's a pretty interesting choice from Yapzor, but I don't really think it's going to be punishable by a basically unknown.
Yeah, I mean, if their Brewmaster had a Blink Dagger, I would say it would get punished certainly immediately, but the fact that they haven't quite hit their stride for BU should give this line a bit of space to find some farm here. However, I still don't feel like BU is willing to take this to the late game. Either way, jumping upon Massacre in the bot lane is postured up Bambo. He's looking for a pounce here. Should be able to find it, but he's got no support inbound. Just an easy TP out coming out from Massacre. Good game sense from the Legion Commander there.
Yeah, so she's going to keep herself safe for right now, but still it's a level 8 Legion Commander who has yet to do anything with her ultimate, and given the way that this game is flowing, a very, very slow game compared to the previous 3, it doesn't seem like she's going to be getting her dual damage up anytime soon. Well, when your Legion Commander is not actually using her ultimate, then it's kind of an underwhelming hero. Being able to purge out things with Press the Attack is certainly nice, but other than that, you know, it's not really going to be doing too much of anything, so she's going to look to do that, but at the same time, BBC, they're kind of okay with playing this slow, having 2 Hands of Midas going.
Yeah, definitely so, and that's, I mean, understandable in a sense. I feel like they do kind of have the late game in their hands here with the LC as well as the Wraith King. They will bring down this tier 1 in the bottom lane. Glyph going to be there. Bridon going to be able to pick up that last hit. That's 2,300 gold on him. He can pick up his Blink from the side shop shortly hereafter if he opts to do so, and I do expect him to probably grab that up, being as there is really no other initiation available to their team since Yapzor went for that Midas.
Well, Miracle now has a Force Staff, so there is some way that BBC can start these fights, aside from the Wraith King who just picked up his Blink Dagger. So now they have Force Staff, Rubik, Blink Dagger, Wraith King. These are pretty dangerous items right now, and basically unknown. They have the Blink Dagger and the Brewmaster themselves, but aside from that, anything but a Stray Shackle is not going to be starting the fights for them. We have rotation from Mind Control down towards the bottom lane, where he's once again going to look towards Levi, who's going to try to back off, but he's going to run right into both a blinking Brewmaster and Mind Control is here. With a shackle onto Bridon, actually going to focus down Levi in the meantime. That'll get 1 kill. Now with the split, they're going to try to kill off the Wraith King twice, but purple is coming, and that's the Rubik. Sexy Bambo going to close in. Bridon is going to lose reincarnation, just trying to waste time right now for the rest of his team to come in. Can he survive the second onslaught, though? Miracle's off to the side. Power shot through, doing a lot of damage to Bambo, but he's going to survive with the Shadow Dance. Spiked up. Bambo still alive for right now, but he's going to take a fall. with Finger of Death, that's going to be one down. Now the duel onto Paris. Mascari not going to win that one, but not going to lose it either. Paris is going to go to town onto Mascari with the help of a level 4 Ignite. That'll be 1 kill guaranteed. Now going towards the Yapzor. That's going to be 2 kills. Paris is going to have to deal with a stolen split by Miracle, but that's going to time out. He's going to force staff himself into the trees. Kind of going the wrong way. He wanted to go for Paris, but he's completely surrounded right now. Magoma doesn't have any mana. Nice stolen shackle shot by Miracle, but he can't really get out of this many heroes. He will be crit down, and it's basically unknown to take a massive team fight. And, well, they don't get the Wraith King, but they sure as hell kill off everyone else.
Yeah, I don't know how Bridon survives there, but he is able to do so. And a very early grave coming out from fucking Mad onto Paris. Perhaps he didn't see that the Finger of Death was expended earlier on the Slark as he came out of that Shadow Dance and was worried about that burst damage there. But perhaps that could have kept up another alive. But really, it's only the Slark to die regardless for BU. And they take, as you mentioned, a very favorable trade there despite Bridon surviving.
Yeah, so they're going to try to ride that momentum into a tower. That's not really going to happen, but just having the initiative with that Blink clap split onto Paris, starting things off on their own terms, even, getting slowed down by the Wraith King ultimate, not really going to slow down basically Unknown by that much, because they brought in so many heroes to reinforce, whereas that fight for BBC, they were kind of all coming in from different angles, but the reinforcement route for basically Unknown, just a TP to a tier 2 tower away, so they were able to bring everyone in very, very swiftly. And BBC, they were kind of trickling into a fight that they probably should have just left alone. They shouldn't have touched that at all. But either way, it's still going to be a relatively even game. Maybe basically Unknown with a slight lead now. They also have some Blink Daggers being picked up, so initiation power certainly is possible now for BU, but it's not really going to be a huge swing of gold or experience. At least I don't think it is. Yeah, just going to drop the lead down to 0 on the gold, but 2,000 experience, that's not too substantial.
Yeah, and it feels roughly even at this point in the game. I mean, you do have a Rubik core, so eventually he will fall off to some extent. Shadowblade now picked up to the Slark, so that's nice for Bambo. I feel like every time we've seen a Wind Ranger with a rune in this series, it's been a double damage. So another one of those picked up by Mind Control. That'll be useful for the next engagement or two. Just barely going to dodge the power shot coming out there from the Rubik. But yeah, either way, things going to stagnate for the time being. Everyone kind of content to sit back and farm. Massacre trying to find something on this Legion has actually opted for the phase boots over the treads. A little bit unusual. We will see a 3-man smoke from BBC going towards that mid lane, and Bambo is a little bit susceptible to this. He's going to catch the overwhelming odds, but does have that Shadow Dance now proccing extra move speed there. Shadow Blade is available in 5 seconds as well, so should be just fine to continue farming this jungle.
Missed that jump in on the Rubik, but just a Blink shackle shot into Focus Fire, and Rubik is still a Rubik, even though he may be played as a core role. He's still very susceptible to that kind of play, so basically Unknown going to get the kill and then get out before having to worry about anything else. Sexy Bambo also in that Shadow Blade that you mentioned is going to be hunting up towards the top lane, where unfortunately for him he's not going to find anyone just yet. Wrapping around towards mid though, Yapzor and Levi, these are some very tasty heroes for a Slark. If he could find an angle, and he's going to run into Levi. Uh-oh, this is bad for Witch Doctor. Oh, don't go up there, man. He's going to take a very quick fall. He can't do anything before he dies. Up towards top lane, TP in from Bridon. Going to try to defend his tier 1 tower, but he has to worry about a multicast. There's 2 Fire Blasts for him. Also is going to get woven up. Bambo's going to come in. No, it's actually the physical damage of the wave to get the kill. Now they're going to try to slug it out with Bridon. He needs help right now. Another Fire Blast and another huge Shadow Wave from Dazzle is going to kill off the Wraith King. It's a deceptively high damage nuke, and that's going to result into 2 kills. One on the reincarnation, one on the main hero. It's going to be a jump forward, trying to go for this Rubik. Shackle Shot's not going to latch, but they're going to try to Cyclone him up, slow him down a little bit with the rock. It's not going to be possible just yet. Yaps are going to take a little bit of damage on his arrival. They drop so many Observer Wards, but Brewmaster has to get the hell out of here. Bambo coming in hot, though, with that Invis. He is going to cover Paris, but Sentry Ward is there, so they're not going to continue this fight. Basically Unknown, they smoke to get the hell out of there, and they will be successful in doing so. A clean disengage for them after taking a whole bunch of kills.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice play by Miracle to bait the split and force himself back, and then there were TPs inbound to force off Paris for the split, but a good re-engage from BU. They back everyone off from BBC. They're able to blink out Paris, so no Primal Split stolen there, and they come out with a win and a tier 1 tower down.
And they're also setting up for a little bit more Levi. No, don't go that way. Blink forward from Magoma, double multicast. Guys, we weren't kidding about this guy's ogre. That was not a lie. We were telling the truth. This guy just throwing out those multicasts left, right, and center, going to result in a couple more kills for Unknown. That Witch Doctor taking a fall very swiftly, and with the Blink Dagger Ogre Magi, I mean, it's not exactly a Blink Lion, just because Fire Blast is a little bit slower to come out.
Right.
You give the enemy some chance to react, but it still is a pretty darn good way of initiating. A blink into a stun is never going to be a bad thing.
Yeah, he's been farming the jungle a lot, and I don't know about you, but since the multicast came out, I've seen 2 casts, and thus far they've both been multicast. So it's just doing Magoma things, and with that, Blink Dagger definitely will be a little bit more influential here. Yapzor not picking up his Blink for the Lion will still be pretty close to this, and also will have that level 2 ultimate available to him, so can't really knock the Midas pickup up till this point. He will be very close to a Blink Dagger regardless. Now, Levi, not so lucky, has been pretty much farmed up by the enemy thus far. 1 and 3 on the Witch Doctor, pretty damn poor.
And that's pretty much just the life of the Witch Doctor, and he'll do what he can to survive, but what he can do is that his window is going to be very, very small. Sexy Bambo going to find Bridon. This Wraith King actually doesn't have his reincarnation, but his Blade Mail is going to return all the Dark Pack damage. Bambo has to disengage, knowing that there's a tier 1 tower still alive. Mascari looking for potentially a blink into a duel to kill off Bambo, and Bambo is actually going to stop to farm some creeps. No, he'll decide to get the hell out of there, as well he should. That's a lot of damage being returned from the Wraith King. That's Blade Mail value right there, but no one's going to end up dying, and it does force a TP from BBC.
Blink is available mid lane for Mind Control. Miracle postured up a little bit aggressively here. They know there were 2 heroes just in bot lane, and Bambo's going to rotate in. They are going to see him with a Sentry, however. He's going to get stolen his Dark Pact, and not the greatest spell for the Rubik. Perhaps if he gets a pounce there, he jumps in for a Telekinesis, knowing that Shadow Dance was down from the bot lane. But either way, everything just going to stagnate from that mid lane, and 13-4, BU with a little bit of a kill advantage, but the game still seems pretty even at this point.
Yeah, it could go either way, as Roshan is slowly starting to become larger and larger objectives as towers slowly start to fall. Either side's Roshing lineup is kind of restricted though. Like, the BBC side don't really have any great ways of going to the Roshan pit except for that lifesteal of the Wraith King. And BU, they have a Slark who could tank Roshan and then, you know, disengage with a Shadow Dance and then tank Roshan again. And they have Wind Ranger if she draws a double damage rune, as they normally do. They could go for Roshan with that Focus Fire, but killing off Roshan, either team would love to have it because they would let them make some sort of play at this stage in the game, but killing him off, neither side is going to be as lucky. Miracle, though, going to run to Magoma and Bambo. Blink forward for both those heroes. They will both miss. Magoma is going to multicast 3 times, and Mind Control is going to jump in there with a Shackle. Magoma, guys, he's the real deal, and he knows it, too. XD, man. XD indeed. He's going to disengage cleanly with the rest of his side. Bambo, though, still on the hunt, is going to find Levi again. Oh, no. Witch Doctor, say it ain't so. This time, Yapzor is there to help out, but it's too late. With that Dark Pact already queued up, Witch Doctor will take a fall, and Bambo will cleanly get out of there as well. Over towards mid, we have a dual win as Dazzle gets caught a little bit out of position. Magoma doesn't have any mana right now, but Bambo's killing off heroes in the back end, killing off Lion. Now he's going to circle around for potentially a little bit more, though Mascari with an Invis rune is going to disengage, and he will be fine. Ultimately, it's 1 stack of dual damage for Legion Commander, but basically unknown, they take a lot more kills.
Yeah, and I mean, your first duel win 22 minutes in is not the scariest thing. Big overwhelming odds going to go there, but Glyph is only going to delay the inevitable here. They do have a couple of respawn timers up, and there's probably will forfeit over this tier 1. It's actually going to probably drop into deny range here, however. Bridon is going to soak up the wave and let it stay outside of deny range instantly. Interestingly enough, going to keep that access point to the middle of the map for BBC, especially for Roshan here. So, yeah, as you mentioned, no team really showing Roshan love. They do have a little bit more potential to take it from BBC with the Vampiric Aura, but no team really looking for that at this point. Orchid going to be completed up from Bambo. Not the most unusual build on Slark, but certainly not common either.
Yeah, it's usually going to be something like an Eye of Scotty, since Slarks typically tend to get a lot more gold, so that you don't have to go for these like kind of half measures in the Orchid. But Orchid on Slark is actually extremely legit, especially if you're jumping towards these supports. You have to worry about hexes coming out, spikes as well. Orchid is going to put a stop to all of that, and basically if he finds anyone minus the Wraith King, he'll be able to kill them off in short order, given the fact that they're silenced. They can't do anything in order to try to resist the Slark. So it's a very aggressive lineup. It's very consistent with his first Shadow Blade pickup, and if you're playing this style, then sure, might as well go for it. Miracle's going to get jumped over in the mid lane. Will get bailed out, though. Paris going to hex up before he could actually get the split off. He's going to be counter controlled. Now doesn't have enough mana to get that one out. Will actually don't get it out in the end because of magic charges. Turn around for Levi. 3x multicast from Magoma. Going to solidify the deal there. Dazzle, or the Witch Doctor is down. Rubik is down. Now chasing forward for Mascari. Can't quite make it, but they will instead settle for the Wraith King. Does have a reincarnation here, though. I don't know if they have enough, especially with the blink out. Bambo, though, is going to hunt for Mascari. Dark Pact, but he's going to get 1 kill. Now Bridon stuck in the trees. Maybe that's going to end up saving him. Either way, basically unknown. Barely get out of there with Paris. Just had enough mana from that one. Was being mana drained while crowd controlled. Yet, with that split, basically Unknown are going to take yet another victory, only losing the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, and unfortunately they lose the Wind Ranger because there's a double damage rune bottom. But either way, Bambo triple kill going his way. He's going to bottle that up, and he'll find an easy kill in this mid lane if he walks into Yapzor, who is going to be scouted out by creeps very soon. He's got the Orchid available to him, and Yapzor going to walk up the high ground. Sentry Ward is available. But for some reason, Bambo kind of knew that was there. Maybe his Shadow Dance expired. He'll get the Dark Pack off, though, and a 2 overlap on the Disable with Bridon and Yapzor getting a little bit too overzealous. And Bambo able to walk away, even with his kill streak, 9-1-3 on the Slark.
Bambo, just this type of play style, like his ability to move around, create space, get snipes, is just so consistent with what Slark should be doing, just like through design. He's going to run into Miracle, and this is a possible kill, though there is a Yule Scepter here. So Miracle is one of the more resistant heroes along with that Wraith King. Levi, though, oh man, that's a free one. 1, 2, 3 hits, plus purging off that stun. He will get hit through that Shadow Dance, and they're waiting for him to come out, and now here comes Miracle with the extra crowd control. Bambo in a lot of trouble right now, has a pounce out, but he won't be able to get that one out. Mascaro is also coming in. They couldn't keep him alive for long enough to get that dual damage, but they do end a monster kill. That's a lot of gold. Yeah, it's a huge kill going the way of BBC. Definitely not worth picking off Levi, who was worth basically nothing at that point, considering how much he died. Still to give 880 experience over to the Slark, but 700 going the way of Yapzor, Miracle, as well as Bridon. So still a very nice pick off for them. Shadow Dance, an interesting steal coming out for Miracle, but he'll probably look to find something else pretty soon. Yeah, it's going to be a get out of jail free card, or for the most part, it is going to be that. And it's level 3 as well, so you get the passive component. You're going to be moving around at 522 movement speed all the freaking time. And that might help out, maybe, with the phase boots. Who knows? It really depends on how Miracle is going to play the next couple of minutes with the stolen skill, but it seems like he might have a chance to get rid of it because there is a smoke up for basically Unknown. Magoma, not with the most mana at the moment, but they don't really need that much mana if they're going to be getting these kills, especially if they run into just Yapzor. He has a Blink Dagger, so he has a chance of getting out here alive, especially with his positioning. He will see all of them coming. He will blink into the trees. Not quite TP, but no, he's going to be fine. Yeah, he's going to be able to extricate himself from any perilous situation here. And even with this aggressive Dire Vision, it doesn't seem like BU is going to find anything. Everyone smoked up actually behind the mid lane for the side of BBC, and both teams simultaneously going to walk into one another's jungle. But it looks like BU may be the beneficiary of this as they're jumping into the pit with the Weave active. Mind Control is not going to be helping out, though. He's just, posted up as a sentry, so he will see everyone coming in. But he will jump right into that Roshan pit, opening up with that Focus Fire, and Roshan is going to take a fall. Just the movement of basically Unknown, just a little bit better than BBC's over the course of the past minute or so, is going to lead them to a Roshan. They'll also be able to defend this tier 1 tower as they jump right in. Multicast, of course there is, onto Bridon, ×2, and then Ignite, of course, multicast as well. Sexy Bambo, though, going to get dueled up. He will lose dual damage to Mass Carry. No, he actually won't. With the Shallow Grave there, he will survive and then turn things around onto Bridon, who's taking quite a bit of damage, though with the Blade Mail, he will survive for a little while longer. Mind Control, in the meantime, dueling up against Miracle. They'll force a disengage there. They're going to look towards Bridon instead. Power Shot is there to gain some vision. Bridon going to die to another multicast because, yeah, guys, that's that good. Bridon is going to get shackled to a tree. Sexy Bambo is up on the high ground, so he can't really help out here, but I'm pretty sure he can get down in time, as Bridon doesn't really have many places to run. He'll get pounced up eventually, and he will be brought down. That's 7-23, and basically Unknown. They use their Aegis, they use the Shallow Grave almost perfectly, and they clean house with only Rubik and Lion to be the survivors. This tower is going down. Yeah, that's massive that they get the extra damage on Slark as opposed to giving it over to Massacre, as well as the fact that he brings down the LC before popping that Aegis. Jump forward, Shackle is going to land. Orchid is there onto Miracle as well, but he will be able to back off with the stolen win run. Good reaction time from him. Meanwhile, his tier 2 is crumbling here in the mid lane. They are going to pop the glyph. They do have their duel at the ready. Blink Forward is there as well, but no real great spell up onto Miracle. Blink Forward from Mind Control. He's going to find a Shackle onto 2. Yule Scepter up defensively for Miracle. He's going to get pounced up instantly, though, by Bambo, and he will be able to back off, however, once again with that win run. But it does forfeit over their tier 2. Force Forward's not going to find anyone. Magoma going to throw out a multicasting Ignite, because why not? And they will be able to extricate themselves from the mid lane, content with their spoils here. Bridon down for the entirety of that time, and now he has been surpassed over top the net worth chart by Bambo, who does have enough for that second ultimate orb as well. Miracle getting some serious value out of those stolen Wind Ranger skills. Usually they're very narrow in their application when you steal them as Rubik, but both times Wind Run being able to get his ass out of there, so he's going to be very happy about that, but still, he didn't die. That's not too much to be happy about since they also lost that tier 2 tower following a lost fight, and because of all those losses, Basically Unknown suddenly have a Yule Scepter on fucking Mad, so they have one more tool to just get rid of Bridon for just a couple of seconds. They have an Aghanim Scepter on Ogre Magi, and if you can imagine double the Fire Blasts, yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet for the Basically Unknown side. Aside from that, not too much to speak of, but they're looking for a fight over in the mid lane. Magoma's going to open up with just a single onto Miracle right now. He's in a little bit of trouble, but he's got a Shallow Grave right behind him. They're going to blink forward with the Brewmasters, zone out 3 heroes. In the meantime, Massacre and Bridon can do what they can versus Magoma and to mind control. Massacre going to take a multicast, and he will very quickly take a fall. In the meantime, Brewmaster and Bambo forcing everyone else to be on the retreat. They're going to throw a rock towards Miracle, very quickly bring him down. As they throw everyone up into the air, Levi's going to be the target of focus. He's going to be brought down. Shackle into Bridon. He's also going to lose his reincarnation. Rubik's going to buy back, but what can Rubik do against all 5 heroes? Bridon going to respawn into a swarm of enemies, and he will die with an ultra kill being claimed by Bambo. It's 7-28, and Unknown are once again going to be barreling down the mid lane.
Yeah, one single cast a game isn't bad, right? Magoma dropping another multi into the Wraith King there. So Bambo ultra kill, as you mentioned, is holding on to some gold at the moment as he flies over to the side shop, though, and looks like he will be able to complete up this full Scotty. BKB coming over from mind control as well. They're going to lift Miracle into the air and right down into his death here. So this should be more or less GG territory, not to be anticlimactic, but 30 seconds down for the Wraith King, 60 for Miracle's Rubik.
BBC need everyone alive with buybacks if they actually want to defend this. Mid lane Raxes are going to be claimed, and fortunately for Unknown, their top lane is conveniently pushed out right to the tier 2. So they will swoop up to the top lane and grab that one as well. Looking towards the Roshan timer, still a long ways away until that is back up for Basically Unknown, but claiming an entire set of Raxes 31 minutes in the game, not too shabby for them, not to mention a tier 2 tower on their way out, not to mention the subsequent win after win after win in these team fights. And man, that team fight especially, that was pretty much all Paris. Like, he just by himself with that split was able to force away BBC so that they had 2 heroes in the front in the Legion Commander and the Wraith King, and then all 3 of the softer heroes in the back of the Witch Doctor, Lion, and Rubik. They had to run away because they couldn't fight through that split. So just being able to split the enemies like that, and Paris, for the most part, just won his team that fight, even though it was Bambo to take all the kills.
Yeah, like Bambo rotated in and brought them down, but as you said, able to isolate all the support from the cores there, and Bambo easily able to clean them up. Also taking down Miracle, so he wasn't able to take that split and turn the tides of the fight as we have seen him do thus far. But yeah, very well played by Paris there, but an Unknown. Check out the dips in the graph. I mean, in the last couple of minutes, all of a sudden 20k net worth and experience leads going the way of BU, and they have this game handily in their favor. They're going to take down that last tier 1 tower, and the only outer tier tower left standing for BBC is this tier 2 in the bot lane, which they are grouping up and aggressing towards.
Dude, that is just a disgusting lead for Basically Unknown. Slark going for this very aggressive early game build or mid game build with the Shadow Blade Orchid. All of a sudden, he has Eye of Scotty and a Basher. Like, are you kidding me? Like, if you have that 33 minutes in the game, you're going to be happy. But having a Shadow Blade and Orchid with Hand of Midas Treads on top of that, this guy is very close to being 6-slotted, and it's 30 minutes into the game. He just needs an Abyssal upgrade. Maybe you ship out the Orchid and Shadow Blade for something a little bit more smashy later on, but Unknown, they're not going to stop right now. They're going to go for it, and BBC, this is a much better position to take their fights, as all previous fights have been happening outside their base, and BU have been a lot more spread out. So Paris doesn't have a perfect opportunity to split up the enemies just like last time, but at this point, Basically Unknown, they are just so much further ahead that they might just brute force it, or they're just going to chill right outside the BBC base and then back off for an eventual Roshan.
Yeah, Roche still not up for a couple minutes, unfortunately for them, at the very least. But they pop the weave there, stand on the high ground, and they're not going to bait out any missteps from BBC. BBC playing it very safe, knowing that their backs are to the wall in this one on the brink of elimination. But Bambo and crew not going to feed over any of their advantage, and as you mentioned, that is quite the advantage at this point. 6k net worth difference just between the 2-1 positions.
Well, Bambo's rotation out with the Shadow Blade is going to be spotted by a pair of wards for BBC. So Bambo is known, Magoma is known as well. So BBC have a chance to make something happen as they're all smoked up as well. This is, once again, going to be a fight very far away from their base, so the positioning not going to be the tightest, but they're going to catch Bambo with the lift up, with the duel as well. Bambo's going to get Grave, so he's not going to lose this. In fact, he might get more duel damage than he will. He will also be able to go into the Shadow Dance, now trying to run away as Levi's getting locked down by the Brewmaster in the meantime. They're going to catch Miracle and Yapsword both, going to take a fall. Bridon in the meantime just can't do enough damage by himself. He doesn't even have Reincarnation. That's GG. Unknown smash BBC in game number 4, and they claim victory. That's going to be it, guys.
Yeah, huge ultra kill once again, and yeah, if they don't find an engagement off of initiation like that, BBC know exactly where they stand, and a very convincing series coming out from BU and proving everyone right that they were heavy favorites in this one, or at least a 63-ish% favorites over on ebattle.com. So congratulations to them. That is Bridon League, Bridon Open Cup Season 1, guys. Your grand final winner, basically unknown.
Man, they did such a fantastic job in the group stage. They steamrolled that. They did an amazing job in the second phase and third phase, obviously coming out with a win over BBC. And gotta hand it to BBC. They fought really well as well, like taking out X Game previously today and just doing pretty much a replicate of what Unknown did in the first group stage. But at the end of the day, it's who takes this best of 5, and basically Unknown are going to take it with a score of 3-1 versus BBC. So basically Unknown going to be happy with their winnings. BBC going to get some as well. I'm not really sure what the distribution is, but who cares, because basically Unknown are going to be the winners, and that is going to mark the end of today's cast. And guys, best of 5 is going to end right here, and basically Unknown are going to win it all. If you enjoyed the cast, guys, if you enjoyed the tournament, be sure to hit that follow button. Be sure to follow HeflaTV on Twitter and Facebook. It's both those.com/HeflaTV. The VODs for both this best of 5 and the previous best of 3 will be up soon enough. And of course, you know, be sure to support the future tournaments of Bridon, as this one was, you know, had a couple of hiccups, but hopefully those will be all ironed out in the future.
Yeah, definitely so, and thanks to everyone who set the tournament up, and thank you guys for your support, certainly. So BU very, very proficient in their game, and even more so in the draft screen, so looking forward to seeing more from both of these teams.
Alright guys, I'm Mikelorus. I've been one of your casters for the Bridon League. You can find me at Mikelorus on Twitter. I've been joined by MRP, More Rage Please. You can find him on Twitter at mrp_dota. It's all in the title. But until next time, guys, that's Bridon Open Cup League in the books. That's us done for now. So, see you guys next time. Later, guys.
GG.